First of all, you are doing amazing. I don't know, no one's told you that lately, but I feel like it's time for you to actually hear that you're like, it may not feel like it. It may feel like you are moving at a snail's pace, but you are actually crushing it. Like, you're really going after what you want. You are doing a good job at compartmentalizing all of these weirdo negative voices. And you are finally starting to listen to your own voice and finally starting to listen to what it is that you want and what's important to you. I just think that you forgot. I just think you forgot how amazing you are because of the sheer number of things that you're trying to do right now. Because, can we just talk about all the things that you are trying to do with your life? You are trying to get your health together, sleep well, be a good friend, respond in a timely manner to text messages, do something scary every day that pushes your ideas or your creativity or your business. You are out there serving as an example. You're doing a lot of the work too that's like the hidden work that's like thankless, whether that's being like the administrator for your family's like random needs, or helping translate information for family members, or just being someone who is reliable. Do you understand that most people just aren't? Like, legit, most people are not reliable. Like, they just like slink off and then you like never hear from them again. But not you. Because you are someone who is like, you can't even help it. You are just someone who is a ride or die. You are someone who, when they get the call, you answer the call. Because whether anybody sees it or not, whether you get credit for it or not, you are just someone who has integrity and wants to show up for people. And by the way, okay, speaking of the emotional labor that you do, right? You give people second chances. You give people third chances. You give people the benefit of the doubt. And even though you want to be mad at them, even though you want to like cut them out or feel like, oh, I've moved on, or like, oh, that is an outdated version of the software and you can't, because your heart is so big. So you're just giving to people and you can't even be mad at them because you just actually genuinely have like so much love in your heart for them. And most of all, you feel all of this. Like, you feel all the feelings. You feel the heartbreak. You feel the enormity of it. You feel how scary life is. You feel sometimes like you'll just walk around and remember like, oh my God, I'm going to die one day. And the thought is so big and so powerful that it literally scares you. But you don't know what to do. So all you do is just keep doing what you know how to do, which is to show up and to be nice and to be grateful and just to try to make a difference. Like, can we talk about that? You're actually just trying. Okay, so it's like everything is hard. Everything is hard because when you try and when you care, it's hard. So yeah, you are more than the normal person gonna be like, I want to give up. Or you're more than the normal person gonna be like pushed to the brink of the edge because you're pushing yourself in all of these ways. Okay, and I know that there's a part of you that's like, well, I just feel like I'm doing all these things, but I'm doing them all half-assed. At least you're doing them. At least you're doing them. And I know you think sometimes, gosh, like I hold up the whole world for people and why, like, who's going to hold it up for me? But here's what you also need to hear is like, there are people holding it up for you. Maybe you don't let them because you are so afraid of letting people in and of being a perfectionist and of trying to make it look like you have it together all the time. But like, Open yourself up to that. Let other people show up for you too, because they're dying to. They're dying to because they're so grateful to you. Do you realize that like all these little things that you do for other people actually make a big difference in their life? Like your friendship, your small acts of kindness, it actually makes a difference. So if you ever feel like I am nothing, there's like no point, I make no difference. What is even the purpose of this? I'm just in this like human body. Like what am I doing? Okay? Just know that at the very smallest, like you're a great friend and you are someone who people feel very lucky to have in their life. And I know things have been hard lately in terms of like maybe feeling, oh, I used to be like cuter when I was younger, or like, oh, I used to be so much more creative. And I just think that it's okay for us to change. It's okay for our bodies to change. It's okay for our hearts and minds to become weathered. Like this is just the life experience that you are gathering. And the thing is like we never are gonna get it perfect. And the only way that we learn is by going through that process. So even though you could look back and be like, God, that was so cringe. Like, why did I act like that? Or why did I choose that thing? Or why did I do that? That doesn't make no sense, you know? We are only ever operating with the information that we have. And the only way that we can grow and get more information is by going through stupid experiences. And so you just have to have a sense of humor about it, you know? Which you do. I mean, I know you do. But it's like just as a reminder to keep relying on that. Like sometimes stuff is so stupid that all you can do is just laugh at it and be like, oh my gosh, like, look at me, here I go again. Like, you know, on the stage of life, acting a fool. Like, here I am. Hello. I am the main character, yes, you know? But that's like okay. That's like part of your process. And I'd so much rather see you try than to be afraid. Like, I think that's what you have to give yourself credit for, is the fact that like you try. You at least put yourself out there and you at least are trying to push and to challenge and to learn new things, you know? And we just think that we can analyze our way out of it. Like we could just, you know, put our whole life in a spreadsheet and then just organize that spreadsheet. And then at the end of the day, like our life's answer would come out. But so much of the work is a whisper. So much of the work is quiet. So much of the work is just us listening to this little voice, which we feel like is completely psychotic and crazy to listen to. But it's like that line in Chappell Roan's song Pink Pony Club when she's like, you know, I couldn't help but listen to the crazy visions of me in LA. Like that is what we're all doing here. It's like listening to those crazy visions of us in LA. Like that's all we're doing. So when you're busy showing up for everybody else, you know, and when you're busy just like making sure that, you know, your friends are taken care of and that your partner is loved and that your kids have the food that they need and that your house is vacuumed and cleaned, like you just also need to remember to show up for yourself, you know? And only you knows the answer to that. Like only you knows the recipe for how to show up for yourself. And it's going to be different for everyone. But it's like, what do you really need to relax and decompress at the end of the night? Like, is it a warm bath? Is it a walk? Is it just like fucking leave me alone and let me read my trashy romance novel? Like, what is the thing that you need, you know? And is it just like you just really need to watch Love is Blind? Like you just really need to have your time to chill. And I think that like if you think about the course of a day as having an arc where in the beginning you're like gearing up and then you'll work on a big project or you'll show up for other people or you'll just like be present and organize your house or organize your things or just like do all the annoying fucking chores that like exist, right? Then we can't just like crash in bed. Like we actually need there to be a down ramp as well. And so really thinking through like planning out what is that down ramp for you and what is that thing that is going to get like lead you into a restful night's sleep after a long, hard day, because you deserve that. You know, you're always putting yourself last. You always are like, oh, let me take care of this. Like that. See, it's not even always just picking other people. It's like picking other activities other than taking care of yourself, right? It's like it's like we have all been taught like, oh, we can't relax until everything's done. Well, then you'll never relax because it's never done, right? So it's also like learning how to pause or learning how to integrate rest into something. Like my really good friend sent me this Instagram post where they were like, rest is a fruitful activity, or like rest is a productive activity. And I was like, oh, that just like rearranged my brain. Like, yes, absolutely. Like rest is productive, you know? And also, what is this all for? What is this all for if you're not having fun? If you're not having fun, if you're not taking a piss with the universe, if you're not just like a little bit grinning on the inside because life is such a silly, silly game and here you are playing. Like if you're not having a sense of like fun and wonder and like a little bit of like fuck it energy, like what are we doing here? We're taking it way too seriously. We're like looking for outcomes to affirm our existence. And it's like, no, none of that. If you're not having fun, if you're not having a good time, then this is not for you. Then whatever you're doing, whatever you're white knuckling, whatever creative project you're strangling of air just to get it done, like is not for you. You have to have fun with it. Otherwise, you will just die. I also want to remind you that we think like we're just meant to go, go, go all the time. But if you look at nature, like nature is not productive and fruitful all year round. Like nature has times of rest as well. What do you think winter is? You know? And so it's also like, okay, if you just take a month, okay, let's use the microcosm of a month of your time, okay? You've got to be kidding me if you think that every single week of that month is going to be productive. It's not. It's not. Again, it's waves, it's parabolas, it's arcs, okay? So there may be some days where you're just like on it and you're feeling so productive and you're like cranking. You're like, oh, I've made progress on my writing. I've made progress on my art. I've released this song. Like I've done this, that, and the other. And there are other days where just, I don't know, where the moon is, hormonally, what's happening, where you literally are like, I have the brain of a tiny squirrel. Not even a medium-sized squirrel, like a tiny one. And I don't know. It took me 40 minutes to make breakfast. Like things are just taking a little bit longer. But that is because like the seasons, there are times for everything. And the first step is just like noticing, oh, when is my energy high? When is my energy low? And then being able to like match that with the activities that you do. But then like the next level shit is when you can be like, oh, I already know this time of the month, I'm going to be low energy. So let me not try to go do a high intensity workout during that time, or let me go swimming instead. Let me go for a walk instead. Okay, so we anticipate our needs. I don't want this to sound like fragile or whatever, but we are fragile. Like I feel like I've leaned too much into the idea that we're so strong and we can push through anything. And if we just put our minds to it and like willpower and all that crap, right? No, I'm not. I am like a little flower in the wind. And I don't want to be like too protective of myself, but then I know like the other way where I'm not, and then I get burned out. So err on the side of being like a dainty little flower that needs protection, that needs care. And I will end this rant by saying, and care not from the elements, care not just from yourself and your overworking, overachieving, or sometimes underachieving ways, right? But also care from other people's opinions. I've like seen in the comments where people are saying like, oh, my friend said that. First off, they're not your friend if they said that to you. Okay, but like my friend said this to me and it really hurt my feelings, or like my mom told me that, and it's just like, protect yourself from that as well. I think that is some of the most damaging stuff. Because why? Because you're vulnerable, because you've let that person in, because you hope and want to believe that they have your back. You hope and want to believe that they would never hurt you. Why would they? They're your friend, but they're not, right? So you have to really be careful of that energy as well. And also, sometimes people just have a bad day and they're a grumpy little butthole, and then you just happen to be like in their butthole path, you know? So sometimes that's it, and you can give them grace. But honestly, if it happens more than once, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm not trying to surround myself with grumpy buttholes. Like, that doesn't do anything for me or for my energy. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. This is the advice that I need to hear sometimes. I literally recorded this that when I'm having a bad day, I can listen back to it because trust me, sometimes we all need a little pep talk. Okay. I love you guys. I hope that this was a little bang off start to your week. And I will see you soon. As always, I will keep making this content. If this is the first video you've ever seen of me, I'm sorry. This is a little bit unhinged. I don't care. Okay? You can watch some of my more polished videos if you want. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. That really helps my channel. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.